Right, welcome to the Survival Debrief. I'm your host, Stephen Kelly. As you know about me, 23 years in Commando Forces, just retired. Yay, and what I specialised in the military was survival training. I've operated all over the world, whether that be deserts, jungles, Arctics and mountains. Also, I've had the privilege to take on the UK Naked Alone Racing to Get Home Survival Challenge, and I was lucky enough to take on Discovery Channel's Naked and Afraid not once, but twice. And the guest we've got today is Joe Prouce. He was one of my good friends out there on Nake and Afraid Apocalypse, and I'm so happy he's on this live today. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I have a lot of your similar credentials, just a little bit taller. That's the difference between us. But yeah, very similar. That's why we get along.
Yeah, obviously Joe's American Forces, so we got on straight away meeting out there. But the reason why I wanted to get you on here, Joe, I've set up this podcast to talk about what goes on behind the scenes, what doesn't make here, and talk a bit about your life. But the first question I've been asking everyone: how did this come about? How did you end up on Naked and Afraid on your first ever challenge? What happened? Where did it come from?
It came from COVID. It was a COVID-born idea. I was just sitting there watching a lot of TV. I was a fan of the show and was able to catch up. And I was just armchair quarterbacking it, like just pointing out all the things I would do differently. And my wife at the time was like, "Shut up or get on the show." And I said, "Okay." So I applied, and because of my background and because I had a COVID shot at the time, they really fast tracked me. It was very quick from the time I submitted the submitted to be on the show and getting out there in Africa. It was probably about 6 months.
Wow,
So that was
that's
pretty quick. Yeah.
Mate, it's funny when I look back at when I first applied. I actually applied for it back in 2014, and I was meant to be on the show in 2015. So now, if I was on then, I could be like a legend status now, 10 years on. But unfortunately, I was busy with the military. I got through all my interviews. I had to get interviewed by EJ when he used to do PSRs on camera. I went through all my process, and then I had to fly out to LA, which I couldn't go for my final interview. I had to fly out to LA. I couldn't go. And then my whole dream was lost till 10 years later. But you know, when you got on Naked and Afraid and you were actually out there, what's going on through your head when you're about to strip naked before you walk out into Africa? 'Cause your first challenge, I think you were in, was it Zambia? Your first
It was
challenge?
Zambia, yeah. First challenge was Zambia. And like I almost died the night before I was inserted. I got up to use the bathroom and a hippo had wandered into the camp and I almost walked right into it with just a lantern. So like that was my first like this is real.
Wow.
Like even in the camp, like I almost died just trying to take a piss, use the bathroom. So yeah, it was real from before I even got naked. And then like I just want to say the thing about the being naked part is that like I adjust. It's my least favorite part, but it takes about 30 minutes for me, and then it's just natural. It's like the staff and everybody's super professional, and so I didn't feel awkward or anything like that. So I know a lot of people would have a hang up about it, and I did. It was very nerve wracking. Like the first time I dropped my underwear, and I'm just out there in a foreign land with a bunch of strangers. That is not my norm. But it's just like you get used to it, and then actually, to me, the necklace became like clothed. So it's like when I had to take the necklace off or something to swap bags or do something, that moment where I was like completely naked, then I felt weird. But
Yeah.
then I put the necklace back on. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm covered. I've got at least my neck here covered up, so I'm good. It's a very strange like acclimation process to the whole nudity thing
Mate,
for
it's
me.
funny how you say that because, and I like how you talked about the producers as well. They are so professional. And this is what I want to get across on these podcasts. The producers are so professional. But that was one of the main parts of me getting naked. Even though I've been in the military for 23 years, I'm always getting naked when I'm drunk. But on national TV, you're dropping your kicks. You're just standing there feeling exposed, thinking, "What am I doing? What am I actually doing?" And but the crew are so professional. That's what I've found out about it. You forget you're naked after 30 minutes, and but when you do feel really naked, it's like you said, when you get when you change your necklace or your bag, they're like, "What?
Yeah.
What? Where's my bag?"
Yes. Just that
So
little bit. Just that little bit is enough to kind of keep you out of that awkward state. But
yeah,
yeah, it's but really like the nudity becomes just more of the challenge. It's why the challenge is people look at it and go, I would never do that, right? It's just that one level higher than all the other survival shows, and I think that's what sets it apart. It's not so much the hook that it is anymore. It's just showing like that this is about as extreme as it's going to get.
yeah. Because you can do
I gotta
shoulders.
help. I gotta help my customer here.
Sorry about it.
No worries.
I need puppy dewormer.
How
Puppy
cool is this?
dewormer. Okay.
Obviously, Joe owns his own shop as well, his pet shop, Wild Foods for Animals. So I wanted to do this podcast so you can see Joe in his work and life as well.
Yeah, doing some sales here.
But
For puppy. And
let him do his sale. How cool is that?
The rawhide bones with chicken strips around everything.
1 second. We don't do rawhide, but we have chicken feet, and then we have some of these
So we'll
things
give
here.
something for Joe to think about while he's serving his customers.
This right here is probably what you need.
Okay, it's like just little chihuahuas.
Then you want the chicken feet. This is for yeah. You need these.
Chicken. Take 6 of them.
Okay. Yeah, these are good. They're gonna help clean their teeth
Okay,
too.
beautiful.
Yeah, man, this is chicken feet. I'm selling chicken feet right now.
How cool is that? So Joe's in his job now. He's give up his time to come and speak to us on here. But while you're saving your customer, obviously your customer can't hear us, which is great. I'm going to give you something to think about while you're saving your customer. When you're stripped off naked, Joe, and you're walking out to meet your partner, what's going on through your head?
Going out to meet my the first time.
Yeah, in
When
Zambia.
I'm doing a podcast.
You are.
This is Stephen Kelly. Yeah, and yeah, he's doing a podcast because I was on the show Naked and Afraid. So that's what.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
hi.
place, though,
So you meet your partner for the first time. That's what you want to know.
It's funny asking him these questions while he's working. He's going to mess up and give all the products away for free.
No, I'm good. Okay, 2614. So yeah, yeah, just go ahead and tap right there.
Oh, I didn't know. I've never done that.
Oh, you never done that? All right, there we go. I got you covered.
That's pretty sad.
You're doing good. You need a bag?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. You are good. Thank you. You too. Thank you. Yeah. Welcome. Wild West Feed, this is Joe. Hello.
Keeping him busy, aren't we?
No, thank you. Bye. All right, that was a telemarketer. All right. Okay, so you're out there. You're gonna meet your partner for the first time, right? So I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and I only had 2 days notice because I backfilled somebody that I backfilled Frank actually because he dropped out because of COVID. So I took his spot. I had 2 days prep to switch from the Caribbean to Africa. But I had this idea that my partner was going to be an absolute smoke show because like they were telling me all kinds of things like, oh, it's probably a dude. This one, because you're late, the female dropped out. They were like trying to give me all kinds of bad information. But a couple of the producers said things like, oh, I think you're going to like your partner. And as soon as they said that, I was like, that's guy talk for hot girl. Like that's what I like. And it turned out to not be wrong. So like my producer Kat was like, I was like, you can tell me whatever you want. I know it's a pretty girl. And she's like, how do you know? And I'm like, just because guy talk, I can decode the guy talk. And Candace was great. That turned out to be one of like, a chance meeting of somebody that I would have crossed paths. And she was a really sweet soul. And I'm glad that we got to meet each other. And we're still casual friends to this day. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was good seeing that. Obviously, Candice unfortunately lasted a few days, 4 days, wasn't it? She only lasted 3, 4 days, and she needed to just get out of there.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's a hard challenge. It's a tough environment. Now, Joe, you've been on your own quite a lot throughout challenges. When your partner left Candice, what was going on through your mind, knowing that you're going to be left alone, exposed out in the wild in the middle of Africa? What's going on in
I
your
mean,
mind?
that was the biggest shock that I've ever had. Because, I've been in the military, you do a lot of preparation before you go, the mission. And because I had 2 days lead up and only about an hour, 2 hours to meet with the Rangers to kind of go over some of that, because I was not studying for Africa. It was not my focus. I really wasn't prepping for that biome. And they'd given her, she knew where she was going for a long time. And so she was just like at night, she would tell me all this stuff. And I was like, just soaking it all up. but I really was not prepared. There's no book. They don't hand you a little survival book when you go out there, right? So whatever knowledge, this is it. This is the survival book you get. Um, and so when she left, I was like, crap, there goes my encyclopedia survival.
Yeah.
And it really, like, I was like, for probably the first, I don't know, day, I had to do a big reset and just be like, all right, man, find your ground, move from a position of strength. That's what I tell myself all the time. So it's like, all right, what can I do? What are my controllables here? All right, get your food, get your water, get everything squared, get your shelter. I tightened up the shelter, made it smaller, made it more comfortable. I was like, control your sleep, control your water, control what you can. And so that's what I did. And then ultimately, like, it just kept building and building every day, little victories. Like that's the trick, right? So
Hey, looking back on
that's
your challenge,
kind
though,
of it.
you had a saying, was it the three W's?
Yeah, wood, water, and what's next?
Yeah, I don't know. I like that how you done it. And that's methodical for someone like me who's in the military. A nice, easy path to follow, the three W's, and I like how you
Yep.
done that.
Yeah, I mean, I learned real quick. Like, I learned the first night that the wood is life, right? You have to keep a fire going all night because lions were coming around, all kinds of animals were coming around. So, okay, wood is top priority. You can't keep a fire going; they'll pull you out of the challenge.
Yeah.
So, okay, so every day I made like an A-frame, and I stacked that A-frame. So I knew, like, I measured how much wood I would need for one night, and so I was like, so I could calculate it and be like, okay, when I fill my A-frame, then I'm good. Then move on to another task, and then I get my water squared away, right? Okay, we start off first thing. You drink what's left. You boil a pot right off. That's breakfast, right? And then you just start moving from that. You just always make sure you have clean water, especially in Africa. It's stupid hot, and you can get all kinds of sun related ailments, and dehydration so quickly out there. So watching your pee, always watch your pee.
Mm.
Like, that's the biggest indicator, is watching that thing. Okay, it's getting darker, so let's tone it down a little bit and just start hydrating. Keep hydrating.
That was good how
Like you
you
said,
done that.
yeah.
It
I
was
mean, it
good.
was.
Yeah.
They didn't show. I dug a well, and that was the biggest thing that I did, was that I figured out that, like, my time spending boiling water it was taking up too much of my days, and I'm like, I don't want to spend this entire challenge just gathering wood and boiling water, for the next 16, 17 days. So I dug a well, and then I had good clean water, like, at the ready every day, and that was the biggest advantage that gave me the chance to go hunt. But everything was like, there's a rhythm to the challenge, and if you fall behind because of a loss of a partner, it's hard to make that ground up. And that's the reality. So when people watch me, they're like, oh, this guy does nothing. Like, this guy does everything.
Yeah.
I do everything. It's just I have to master the basics, and then that doesn't leave a lot of free time to do all the other like fun stuff that they're going to make the highlight reel. There's a lot of chores that need to be done.
I'm happy you covered that there because it's funny when fans watch this, they don't realise what goes on in the background. They don't realise that wood is your life, boiling water is your life, and it's just chores before you've even started. Who do you think when you're watching a show and people are coming back with these big wins? To get them big wins, that person going out there to hunt needs water. He needs to come back to have a fire to cook the food. Who do you think's doing all that when they're sitting in a blind for 8 hours a day? If you're on your own like you was, Joe, you're doing all that plus that. But they can't show it all, and this is what's hard about watching Nake and Afraid. They can't show everything. It may be a 45-minute episode, it may be 2 hours, depending on how much stuff you've done. But even if you've got a 2-hour episode for your 21-day challenge, it can't show everything. You're there for 21 days, you're there for 500 hours. It can't show everything, and it's quite hard to get this across the fans. And I'm so happy. I normally ask that question: is there anything what you did but it didn't show? And now I've just learned that you dug a well. No one got to see that, and that's nice hearing that you're trying to adapt in the background. But obviously, it's a TV show. They've got to have a narrative. They've got to make a storyline. Your partner left, and then it's just you on your own. But there and that, thinking outside the box is absolutely spot on, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, that's the mental game. That's the biggest tool that I bring, and you too,
Yeah.
right? It's like, we can read the manuals, we can practice the skills, and get all the skills do is, like, ensure that you're gonna meet some level of comfort, right? whether it's by warmth or by shelter, or, you know, like being able to get food, you're just going to increase your comfortability. But it's like the strong mental game. That's really where true survival is born, I feel.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
if you can like rebound from the mistakes and the errors, and because as you see a lot of people tap is that like they can't handle a loss at that state of that, you know. So it's like you have to have a good strong mental game, and that's the biggest survival tool that I bring, and that's why we get along, right?
Yeah.
You know, is that like we understand like, okay, I'm separated from my familiars, and but I've got a mission, and you know that's the nice part about Naked and Afraid is it has an end date. You know that there's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
end date, and I can hold on. I can hold on to dear life because I can see the finish line, and
Yeah.
that's huge for me.
But you've hit the nail on the head there, Joe, because when I talk about on these podcasts, what's the best survival skill, and I've said it a lot, and a lot of the survivalists are in the same as us, is your mindset. You could have all the best skills in the world. Now, like I said, I've watched Naked and Afraid since it started, and there's been some amazing people with amazing skills, but they quit because they don't have it up here. They get a bit cold, they get a bit wet, miss the family, and they tap, and you're like, oh, wow, you've got some good skills as well. You've got good bushcraft skills, you've got some good survival skills, you're knowledgeable with plants, but you just ain't got it up here.
Yeah. No, I mean you're exactly right, man. And then understanding how to measure risk versus reward, I think is another important part of that mental game. Is that like a lot of people you'll see will put themselves either in a bigger calorie deficit,
Mm,
injure themselves, and they just do things that they're gambling. They're gambling with their body and their life, and really like the opportunity to finish the challenge.
yeah,
So, it's like being able to kind of always check yourself, having that self regulator that's like, okay, yeah, it would be really cool to do this, to jump off of this ledge or climb real high in this tree. There was a time in my first one in Africa where I I saw that if I climb this tree, I was like, if I climb that, that's a great blind. It's like right over the water. I'm super above. I'll have a kill shot, no problem. And I climbed it about halfway. And this is in like day 18 or 19. I climbed it halfway and I was like, you know what? Like, I could probably get up there and then I could sit there for 8 hours and then coming down, I'm probably going to fall.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, I just I did the risk reward and I was all like, yeah, it's probably pretty good. I would, but the risk to me was like coming down after sitting there for 8 hours.
yeah.
And it's funny because I actually did, I don't think they showed it, but I did pass out too. On that, not passed out. I got lightheaded. Again, it's a thing because I'm busting my ass. I'm just like you, man. I don't quit. So, but on Zambia too, I stood up real quick from the last hunt I did. I stood up from the blind and then just like fell back onto like all the acacia thorns and everything. But it was because I fell onto such a big bramble. I only got like two in my butt cheek, and then yeah, just like it was like laying on a bed of nails. It was just like
Yeah.
it all held me, and I'm tough as hell too, by the way. So I got up, like I didn't pass out. I just got lightheaded and just kind of keeled over. And the medic came and he just rolled me over and he saw my butt cheek and he's like, "That's all you got?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it looks like that's it. That's all that happened there."
That's
So
brilliant.
yeah, he's like, "God, you're hardcore." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, don't forget it."
And obviously you went
So
away and you finished that challenge, Joe. You absolutely finished it. And what I was going to ask you is, obviously you were on your own for a lot of that from day three. You were on your own. So you done like 18 days on your own. What was the feeling at the end when you completed it? How did you feel?
pretty sad actually. Yeah, pretty sad.
Yeah,
I think the feeling of victory didn't last very long because I like got to that point where I knew I was going to make it.
yeah,
Right. I got to that point where I was like, okay, I'm past the hump. I've got myself squared away. And I got in the van and I just like, it was just me. And they're asking me, how do you feel? And I was all like, pretty bummed out. It's just me. I'm pretty bummed out that I don't have somebody to share this with,
yeah,
like that. I see people and I talk to people from the challenge that like, they form a bond with their partner. I've just never got to do that. I've never finished a challenge from start to finish with somebody. And so I feel like I'm missing out on that connection, that human connection with something that a triumph that's so great. So yeah, I was pretty bummed out, and they were just like, I felt content. That's what they're like, how do you feel? And they're like, I'm content. I'm happy that I finished it. And like, come on, like, give us some emotion, do this. I'm like, honestly, guys, I'm happy. I'm
yeah,
excited that, I wasn't excited. I was like, I'm grateful that it's over and that, I completed it, but yeah, it felt kind of like a half win just because
Yeah.
I didn't finish it with a partner.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to finish with an amazing partner, Sunny. She was an amazing survivalist, and we're bonded for life now, bonded through trauma. We struggled from day one into the Colombian jungle. Now we're really good friends. Me and my wife are really good friends with it. We're here and her husband Jordan, and the kids. We're flying back out to America in December, staying over at their house in Spokane, Washington State. And we've formed that bond, and my wife's good friends with their family now, and I think it's absolutely amazing. So I've never went through what you've went through. I've been lucky to have an amazing partner to get to the end. But obviously you completed it, you've done it. What was it like getting a call up to go and do Nake and Afraid Apocalypse? You've been invited back now. You know the African, you know the scene, you know the terrain. What was going through your head when you got invited back?
I think when I got invited back, I was super excited. I think similar to you and I, it gets in your blood, right? You're
Yeah,
just like, I did this thing and there's nothing else like it, right? Because I've done, you and I have been on missions and been in danger, and we've been all around the world, and that's great. But there is always this layer of subordination, I think,
yeah,
for you and I for being enlisted military. And when I got out there and they're just like, hey, what do you want to do today? Like, you're in charge of the wilderness to go out and like go do what you need to do to survive. And it's great. And it's fun because it's entertainment. So like they're asking you questions, and you're doing this stuff, and they're putting together video packages. And so you got this crew that's kind of buzzing around, but like there's nothing else like it, as far as like a self personal challenge, again, man versus nature, and in an environment that I never there's no way I would have ever flown to Africa, stripped down, butt naked, and tried to make it. That just was not on my like bingo card of things to do for life. And so I did it. I got the opportunity to do it. It got into my bones, in my blood, and I started camping more personally. I just started really appreciating the nature that I have at home, and really kind of enjoying just doing things, that were just more in tune to that lifestyle. So it's like,
yeah.
I'm the boss now here at the office, and I walk around barefoot, because I
Because you
can,
can.
because I
Yeah.
can. So
Oh, mate, it's good that show. But do you know when we started Apocalypse? Do you know when you jumped out the back of the truck and you seen death everywhere? What was going through your head? Because going through my head, I was in shock. I was thinking to myself, I'm a British commando. I'm quite tough. I can survive all over the world, but in my head straight away, the heat, and I get sunburned, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do to operate around here? I need to adapt quick, and I was worried. I was worried, but I knew nothing was going to break me. What was going through your head at that time?
I mean, the ground was ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
Like jumping out onto that uncovered soil, and even like riverbank sand was like magma. I've never stepped on hotter ground. So that was like, this was a different game. But for me, coming from California, it's hot. It's hot here a lot. There's fires here all the time. I've been a type 2 wildland
Yeah.
firefighter. I've seen worse burns than that. I've been where it's just ash. It looks like moonscape. It's just white and gray ash for miles. So to me, I was like, okay, it's not so unfamiliar. It wasn't so, I thought, well, this is the crappiest environment to ever survive in. It's just not. To me, I was like, this is not a survival space. I think I said it. This is a place to evacuate from,
Yeah.
not to try and survive in. I said that in the show, and that's 100% what my thoughts were. This is not something that we need to try and acclimate to or find survival. There's no animals. There's no food. There's a bunch of burnt sticks. So finding firewood was easy.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like to me, it wasn't. I thought, oh, this is going to be a hell of a challenge. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But I thought at the time, great, I got two partners. That's honestly why it's like good. At least I'm not carrying all the weight,
Yeah.
and that's what I thought immediately. Like jumping, I was like, wow, this is gonna be tough. But I've got a support system here, and so that turned out to not be the case. But that was my initial thoughts.
And obviously within 5, 6 days you lost your partner and you're back in Africa again on your own. What's going on for your head now? You've lost Amber, you've lost Kel. What's going on for your head? You're back on your own. Potentially you're going to be surviving another 31 days, 30 days on your own.
What really went through my head, I know they showed some shots of me lamenting, but what really went through my head is because there was just so much drama and just it was depleting. It was just emotionally depleting to be in that space with those people. So I actually, said to myself, like, I felt lighter. That's what I said. I felt like I kicked off two lead weight shoes and I was ready to run. Because there was just so much arguing and like bickering about what to do, and yeah, it just became like a much clearer pathway to creating that shelter because we were falling behind. Like I said, if you don't get shelter day one, right, then you're not getting food. You're not
Yeah.
starting that food. You're not starting that water routine. You're not starting these things that are going to, and it starts to be this domino. So, on day five, when you're behind, you're playing catch up on a deficit. So that was my biggest concern as far as being alone because the environment was like 10 times harder. At least I was familiar with it because I remember thinking to myself, well, at least I know I can go 21 days in this. Like I'm alone. This is the same thing. I know I got 21 days.
Yeah, yeah.
So my goal then became to get food. I was like, okay, the difference is I didn't get a lot of nourishment on my first one. So that's the priority. In order to sustain and go longer than 21 days, I'm going to need food.
It was good watching that though, Joe. Obviously, as a fan of the show as well, I went with you. I don't see what you're doing, but watching it back on telly, it was good seeing that how resilient you was, and you weren't quitting. You were going out collecting your scorpions. And then when you let that Mapani moth, honestly, that's one thing I couldn't eat. I couldn't. I know you the way you ate it, then you
I
started.
ate the dung beetles.
I've
How
had
you
it done
how
beef
you
with the Mapani moth. They look
Oh yeah.
disgusting.
So yeah, definitely you got it. You cannot eat a medium rare Mapani moth. So my scorpion cooking is down. It's down. Like
Yeah.
I know how to cook a scorpion. I did the moth the same way, and it was undercooked, and the middle was just still squishy. So yeah, imagine kind of like eating a cigar nub
Yeah.
with liquid in the middle. That's kind of what that tasted like. Um,
It's funny watching
so
that back. Just so
oh,
obviously
dude,
we were eating scorpion, but it didn't show much of us eating scorpion. But watching you eat it, it was good. Putting them all on your stick, and you were catching them with your
oh yeah.
shovel. Then when you got that Mapani, and with it a second, you were projectile vomiting.
I think it's good TV. Did
Yeah,
that suck? Yeah. But the other part is my belly was full of Mapani tea.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the other part. Like that's why it's all green. Like I had made Mapani tea that night before, and then it sat and steeped all night, and I just drank it. I was like, well, let me start a new pot. So I chugged all that steeped all night. It was just full of tannins. So it was a combo of like my belly was full of gross liquid, and then I ate a squishy cigar nub, and yeah, it was just not. Yeah, but I mean, like, I puked and I rallied. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They teach you that in the military too. That's a good military skill. You throw up, okay, you rally then. Let's go round two.
Oh, it was brilliant
So
looking back on that. Obviously, you had problems with that elephant as well. Do you think that elephant was stalking you?
I mean, the elephant. There was no other water source, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's just we're all competing for the same resources. And what I learned later was that the when you burn that sickle bush, that sap caramelizes and it becomes elephant candy. It's like their favorite thing in the whole wide world.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm literally surrounded by an elephant candy store, and then we're fighting for the same water source.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, no, I know. I really wish they would have put that in there because yeah, it's a pretty cool. That's I had the worst location. Like
Yeah.
you guys had Mapanis. I had like one Mapani tree that I was living under, but the rest was sickle bush, which are 3 inch long thorns.
Thorns, yeah.
And they're brutal. They'll pop car tires. So it was pretty ruthless. But yeah, the elephant. I mean, he was a bull elephant that had been kicked out of his herd. And so he's looking like that's what you can see. He's got musk dripping from his ears, and he's got a full on erection when he sees me
Yeah.
that one time. I mean, like that's no joke. Like that's real. And he chased me away a couple times, and then I remember reading this book called Death in the Long Grass, and it just talked about standing your ground. I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. You know. I'm going to do it. And the only way you know an elephant's doing a false charge is that you're able to tell the story.
Yeah.
And so I was lucky. I was fortunate. It's a flip of the coin, and it was a very risky move, but I'm proud of what I did. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
So
It was good to watch as well. It was good to watch, but where we Miranda and West was, we had elephants. They didn't show any of that. That's what I wished they shown because we were 15 meters away from them, just staring at us, standing still, thinking this is going to squash me. This is going to squash me 15, 20 meters away. And then obviously just moved away as the hairs, and it's quite scary, like, but they didn't show all that. But moving on from this, because we're going to wrap up this podcast soon now, Joe. But moving on from this, obviously, you met up with you met up with Tia, we all moved to the cage, and that's when we all came together. And I absolutely loved working with you out there. I got to live with you for 7 days. Me and Joe actually went to the building, which they didn't show. That's when you see the Wrigley tin in our cage. Me and what we fished with. Me and Joe got that. It didn't show that, did
yeah,
it? I
I
mean, we
know.
we ran for it like two
Yeah,
mile.
we did a cadence 2 mile cadence run hauling that stuff because like the union of you and I kind of felt like I was with somebody on my level, right? We weren't legends, we weren't. You and I were like we were of the same kind of
Yeah,
coming up in the show, and we had a military background, and we just hit it off like right away.
yeah,
And so yeah, you said, hey, I want to do this, and I was like, great, let's go do it. And yeah, we humped it. We double timed it, and you were singing cadences, and we were
yeah,
just running, and like I loved it. That was one of my favorite moments of like kind of bringing me into this group dynamic, right? Because I did so much solo stuff, and then
yeah,
Waz came in, and Waz is just he's a very dominating personality.
yeah,
Teal's kind of reclusive, so it was kind of hard to get a gauge on her right away. But like, yeah, when you came across that berm, I think I was the first person to meet you as you
yeah,
came
yeah.
across that berm, and I was just like, I hugged you, and I felt instantly like, okay, I got a friend here now, and it turned out to be the case. So I'm like super grateful. I was so grateful that you came into the camp because I think you and Wes were the last ones in,
Yeah, the last people at the very
and when
end.
we thought, okay, well, this is it.
Yeah.
We're it.
I told
Uh,
everyone, no, I'm not dropping out for no one. The sun might have been hot, and I was so happy when you were there. When I seen you and you were there in your little skirt that you made out of some pelt and all that. It was absolutely brilliant. But talking about your two challenges, Joe, we've only got like 4 minutes left on this. Talking about your challenges, what was your harder one? Your 21 or your 35?
to me they're almost repetitious. I think I enjoyed Apocalypse more because there was just more creativity. There was more stuff to work with. They showed more of the stuff that I did. They didn't just cut the show and because the first one I did a lot of stuff, but they only show like Joe and Candace. Candace is gone. Joe starves. Joe walks out of Africa.
Yeah,
And so for this one, they showed a lot of my ingenuity and they showed a lot of my personality. Not always the best parts, but hey, I mean I sign up for that. I'm like,
yeah,
it's real. The show's real. This is a reality TV show that real stuff's happening and people are feeling emotions. And now that's part of the draw. So I appreciate Apocalypse when I watch the totality of everybody's story because I think that's the best part is that like the 7 days we were together in the cage, we all told the stories of each other's
yeah,
adventures. And then when the show came out, we were kind of watching it together and like talking to each other on shared mobile apps and stuff, and just like getting to see the experiences and the stories that this group of friends, this crazy eight that made it through this. That was probably the best part about a challenge yet. Was just like that 7 days in the cage together, basically like some kind of prison camp, summer camp combo thing, and it was fantastic.
Oh, mate, it was amazing. I love looking back on that and all the stories we'd tell each other, talking about our families, talking about our kids, talking about what foods we're going to eat when we get out. Uh, it was an amazing. And then we got told we were having what was it, a broth, and we weren't happy. Uh,
Oh, I didn't mind the broth.
but
I like to ease myself back in.
it was
It was
absolutely
the other
amazing
people.
experience, though. It was an amazing experience. But I've got to wrap up here now, Joey, because obviously my time's running out on the Zoom call. But if people wanted to follow you and see what you're up to these days, where do people find you?
Pro Joe Use at Instagram. That's that handle. That's my personal one. But then look for Wild West feed of West Sac if you want to follow the store. I'm putting way more content on there. just because it's where I only have so much time in the day, and if I got to make social media, I'm trying to make it my living now. So that's where you're going to see a lot more fun and interesting stuff in me doing. My personal social media is kind of taking a hit because I just don't have the time right now as I'm starting this business. But yeah, it's all good, you know. Yeah, and drop me a message. I like signing autographs, so if anybody wants an autograph, I'll sign it, mail it, no charge. Like I just kind of really enjoy the fans' experience that they're having, and yeah, it all makes it feel like more real for me when you guys really enjoy the show and give me some feedback. So that's it.
Oh, honestly, Joe, it's been absolutely amazing you having on the podcast today. Like Joe said, make sure you all go and check him out. He's got a heart of gold. You might have seen some little bad moments on the challenge, but I know Joe personally. I got to live out there with him. I got to live in a campsite with him. I got to spend a lot of time with Joe and talk about his family. He's got a heart of gold, this man. Go and check him out. Go and see what he's up to. Go and give him his business support. And like I always say, these podcasts, I would love it if all you now watching this video, make sure you give it a like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Joe, legends, thank you very much
Oh,
for giving your
one
time.
more, one more, one more. If I ever see you in Last One Standing, I am gunning for you. No mercy. We're the dearest of friends, but you will have no mercy from me, sir. I will take you down. You're the one I want.
I'm telling
You're
you
the
now,
one I
Joe,
want.
I will light your shelter on fire.
That's fine. That's fine. Because I'm moving into yours. Yours is gone now. I've taken it, and you're not getting it back. So that's
It's
fine.
on, Joe. It's on. We're calling you Discovery Channel. Get it on.
Yeah,
I will
right
run him
on.
into the
These
ground.
two
I will
right
rob his
here.
box.
I will dance on my own ashes in my shelter as I evict you from yours.
Honestly, Joe, it's been
All
an
right.
absolute pleasure, mate. Much appreciated for taking your time
All
out
right.
while you're working in your shop, mate.
All right. Cool, man. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy.